This morning we're at Ranworth Broad. As I say, first time I've ever been here, or second time. We never fished it, just came to check it out, and I'll give you a quick tour. Okay, the car park is over there, the car, the white one. I've come to the right, I walk around this bit here. It's all free fishing, you've got to give way to boats. I've tucked myself away. On the end there, the ball goes to the right. There's a shop there, a little green. You can go to the left and fish. Fish off that little bit, or off the front bits here if you want. The boats are likely to moor up there, but it might be alright this time of year. Then you got all further out into the Broad. There's a lot of water to go at. Morning, how you all doing? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Nigel from the Norfolk Fishing Channel. Today I'm out at a brand new venue. I've only been here once before, and that was probably 2 or 3 years ago, or maybe more than that. I think it was the last lockdown when we could just get out and about. And obviously through lockdown I spent a lot of time on Google Maps, Google Earth, really looking at places closely around Norfolk and Norfolk Broads and the rivers and bits and pieces, and I pinned loads of places on the map and saved them and transferred them onto my phone. And I came here probably about 3 years ago, and we're at Ranworth Broad today. Checked it out, thought, yeah, this looks brilliant. And I came back probably about 2 years ago, but it was in the middle of the summer, and it was just absolutely rammed with boats. Oh, you're noisy. Yeah, it was jam-packed with boats, and there was not a space available anywhere. So I've been meaning to come back ever since then. So now we're right at the end of November. I was just thinking last night, well, let's go to Ranworth. I've never been here before. What I've done is, to start with, I've just got a 2-ounce bomb. I've had a good cast about, unclipped. Further right I go, the shallower it's getting, and there's a bit of weed to the right. There's a platform, wooden platform over there. There's a cast out over there. There's a bit of a big snag, a log or something. Managed to get it back. There's a bit of weed in that area. But as you go out into this main Broad bit, I don't know if you can see in the distance, I'll zoom in later on, but it's just like a big white bit. I don't know what it is, a boat or it might be something, but I've got sort of like image in case that does move, where the trees are. There's a dip in the trees. Lucky you, that's what I'm aiming for. Bang smack in the middle, and there's a count of about, to the right, to the further right you go, it gets sort of like the count of 2 with a 2-ounce bomb, and then it gets a bit less. The more you go into the Broad, I'm getting, say, directly in front, the count of about 3, but it's really nice and smooth. I haven't gone as far as the other day, probably only about 80 yards, 75, 80 yards, clipped up. And I've just put in 3 bait up feeders. I thought I'd be positive today, but I haven't put a lot of bait in. I put 1, just ground bait only, and 2 with a pinch, just literally a pinch of maggots, casters and pinkies, a few dead maggots and a few bits of corn, but like 6 bits of each, 6 to 8 bits of each. So I'm going to have a feeder line there, and I'm going to set up a couple of whip lines. I'll get back to you in a minute when I'm all done. That ain't a good start. That ain't a good start. There. Oh, it's a lovely, cute little thing, isn't it? Okay, guys, we're all set up. It's bang on 8 o'clock. At the minute, I'm getting a bit of a doubt. I think that 2 or 3 bait up feeders might have just spooked the fish a little bit. I'll set that up first. Put a hook link on. Got 0.10mm Silstar match team on there, and a size 14 hook, and a bit of worm. I did have it with a fluoro maggot. I've taken it off and just put the worm on its own. I've had 2 casts with that. The second one, I just put ground bait and nothing else. But I've not even had a touch. No signs, no liners, nothing. So I might start another line somewhere else. Go further to the left or bring it in a little bit and bring it in about 5 or 6 winds because it's nice and clean, and just start another line and just feed as you go. But I'm just going to have another cast in a minute. I'm going to bring this in. I'm just going to put a tiny feeder on. Still about 30 grams this one because I weighed it out. Tiny feeder, and they're all ready. I'm going to go down and change the hook link to 0.8, 1.85 pound down to a size 16. That's what I had on before from the last session, and so I'll do that in a minute. I've got an edge rig. Oh, bloody otter patrolling up and down here. It's probably going to kill my swim. Absolutely dead. Gonna kill it dead. Don't know if you saw that coming from around there. Literally off the end of my rod tip. So you can see all the bubbles. See where he is. So I might be on for a blank. You can see where he is up beside that boat. There he is. Just gone under the boat. So it might kill my edge swims. My edge swim, got a couple of new whips. Went into Angling Direct. They had a special offer on, and I've got a discount card. And I've just got a 3 metre whip, Discover whip. They were about 15 quid, and then there was on offer for £7.99, and with my card and that, and I had a few points through Brucey bonus points, and I got it for £2.99. I think it was £2.99 or £3.99. So bargain, £3.99 for a whip. And basically this is for the edge line, literally down by the boarding, and I'll show you that. Just a we've got a little bit heavier, this one, because I was thinking of a perch line. We've got a map. Oh no, it's a Fox 5x8, and that's 0.12mm main line. We've got two number 8 stots, 2 number 8 stots, 1 number 8, 1 number 10, and 1 number 12. And that's down to a size 20. That's looking like shut up. Size 22 Patini 808. Literally off the boarding. Literally down there. There's a mark on there. I plumbed up just here. That, where the 2 boards meet. And that's just dead depth. Just out to about there. I've got a tree. It's like a bare old sort of silver birch. I don't know if you can see it in the distance there, but that's what my line is. It's got a silver line on the water there. So I've got 2 little edge rigs, both the same depth. So I haven't got to move the float up and down. These 2 Patino 808s are barbless hooks, so it's quite handy. So that's one rig, one edge rig. Probably destroyed already by the otter. Lovely cute cuddly things though. Not. We've got picked up one of these as well in Angling Direct. again, I think this one was about 15 quid with a discount and all the rest of it. There's the Guru A-class 4 metre whip. And this one I got really light. I've got 0.2 grams. It's really, really light roach style, tiny. Even writing's tiny. That's a 4x12s. 4x12s. Little tubatini hook, float hook. 4x12s. And I've got number 10 stots all the way down the line. Number 10s, all the way, and then a couple of number 12s on the bottom. And that's down to that's a 0.8mm Gamakatsu G line down to 0.6, and this one's a tiny. Probably won't even be able to see it. It's on here. Tiny size 22 Gamakatsu black. Tiny little look. I can get it off. I'm just basically going to flick this. We haven't had not a single indication on the feeder. Not one. There we go. I'm just flicking this flicking this over on. Again, this is going to be directly in front of me, just like that. And I decided already on this line I'm just going to feed a little bit of hemp. There's a few tares in there and some wheat, and very sparingly a few casters. I've got no bait on there, so I'm just showing you. So that's going to be there. Again, that's probably about an inch over depth, but because of the last session, and I know it's abroad, but these rivers are all tidal coming into it, so I'm keeping a close eye on the boarding today, and I will be plumbing up a bit more often just to make sure. I mean, it was quite high this morning when I got here, so it must be pretty much high tide, I would imagine. So I'm going to keep an eye on the water levels today, just make sure they're not coming up or down, and keep adjusting my depth. And then I've got I thought I'd have better set up a pole line as well, just if this otter's patrolling up and down here, get out a bit further. So I've got I've got an 8 metre, but with being quite tight here, I have to sort of like double unship. But I've decided already to go very sparingly. I haven't even put any bait in there. I'm going to do that now. I'll just put a little bit of this one from the pole line. Got some ground bait, very few pinkies in there, literally half a dozen dead maggots, half a dozen bit casters, and about 3 bits of corn, and plenty of hemp. I thought I'd go with more hemp and crushed hemp, and I'm just not even gonna do a big ball. I don't want to, just bigger than a golf ball basically, that size. And to get that in the cupping tip, it's going to be quite tricky. As I say, I'll have to double unship. 2 more sections to put on, so I've got to be careful not to bounce the ground bait out. Quite handy, I've got a wooden board behind me there. It's quite handy just to rest the butt sections of the pole on. This next section is going to be tricky because I'm going to have to go out across my knee at a 45-degree angle. There's no other way I can do it because I'm going to end up spilling my bait. So I'm going to have to ship this out to my left with 45 degrees. And get this second section. Then we get that in there like that, and then we can get swung out. And this line, I've got in the distance there's 2 trees, and the smallest thinner tree to the left is what I'm aiming for. Just going to make sure these sections are pushed in. before going out. Oh, you shit. Did not want to do that. Let's have a go again. No bouncy outies. Yes, it's going to be easy to double on ship, and I've got to take it to the end. Got that tree sticking up to the left. Tip that in. See a nice cloud there. And that's all I'm going to feed on that line. But I'm not going to go on that straight away. I'm going to try the 4 metre whip line. I'm going to bring this feeder in now because make sure I didn't fall in. I'll bring this feeder in. I've not had a touch. It's been out there, well, I've had 2 casts, and it's been out there a good 45 minutes while I've been setting up. So I'm going to take this hook link off, put this lighter hook link on, smaller hook. I'm going to change the feeder to a smaller feeder. It is cold this morning, it was like 6-7 degrees. I'll probably have to give this a good cast, good fair whack behind me. And if I don't start getting signs on this within a half an hour, I'm definitely going to start up another line, I think. I'm just going to go for double red maggot. They're saying I'm going to get half an hour, but I should have had signs by now on this. It's directly in front of me, the tallest bit of the tree, right down the middle there, the dark tree, where I'm aiming for. That bounced back a little bit, I cast that a bit too hard. I thought this would be a smaller, lighter feeder, I wasn't going to get the distance, but it's bounced back a little bit, but not too bad. I can tell it's bounced back because the way the slack line is on the surface. The V's are just going to come together in a minute. There you go, line sunk. Just got my Zebco Trophy feeder rod, 1/2 ounce fiberglass tip in it. It's the light feeder, light to medium feeder. Got 8 pound Shimano braid, 1.85 pound hook link, seal staff, size 16 Camson B520. I've just gone for double red maggot. I've tipped it through the tail end. This is about as fine as you can go. I've got a single white maggot on. I mean, I think that otter's been backwards and forwards 2 or 3 times. They might have pushed right out into deep water. They'll be hiding somewhere, that's for sure. But at the minute, the signs are looking pretty ominous. I'm going to have to keep some bait going in. There's no point just sitting there not feeding, because if you're not feeding, you're not going to get any fishing. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but you're not going to attract fish into the peg if you're not feeding. But you've got to feed something. You know, you can't feed too much because you're just going to overfeed it, because there's no fish there. It's just going to be laying on the bottom. So it's a catch-22 situation. You just have to go very sparingly, very, very little, not too often. And this is like airy fairy rig that's nicely strung out. It's just falling through the water, so let's lift that again. Oh, okay. Snagged on something there. Just take an inch off then, and just take an inch. So I was literally plumbed up really accurately, and I was literally dead depth. It's going to take an inch or 2 off. Well, you can stop laughing at me. Yeah, and you and all. I'm having a bad morning. The best laid plans flown well out the window in a minute. We're staring down into the abyss at the minute, I think. Not a single knock on the feeder. I'm on single maggot. Not a touch. I think when I do get a bite, I'll be shocked. I'll probably we're not paying attention or miss it. There's a lot of ripples coming up under the float there. Oh, the bells are toll. The bell tolls. Right, been fishing for an hour. 9 o'clock. And not a single sniff. Not a sniff. Yeah, well, it ain't funny. They're all laughing at me. Right, guys, I'll get back to you if I catch a fish. If not, tight lines, all the best. To see you again next week. Okay, update, same as usual. not a bite, not a touch, not a knock. Tried the 4 metre line, nothing. Give that 20 minutes. I've just gone in on my pole line, 8 metres, ending at 8 metres. Been on it about 10 minutes. It was a good probably 40 minutes since I put that small ball of ground bait in. So what I thought I'd do is, I've got a tiny little pole pot, little fox, the one smaller than this, the half size, on the end, and I put literally six maggots in, a few casters, and a couple of grains of hemp, and just topped it up with just plain ground bait, just so it doesn't bounce out. I'll spin you around. It's just a 0.5 Drennan float, and it's got a really fine cane bristle. Got a bit of bristle grease on there because I've got a 0.5 Olivet, and then just one single number 12 stop. But not a touch, not a touch on the feeder. What I was thinking in a minute, I've had another couple of casts. I was thinking I've got to keep something going in, mainly ground bait and a few pinkies and casters and that, 1 or 2 maggots. I've just gone back to a little section of worm, just a small section of worm, nothing else, on a size 16. Buried it right inside. I've not had a touch. So what I was thinking is, I might give it 1 or 2 more casts, and then I'm going to unclip where I am. I'm going to go further, probably another 20 yards if I can, back out to like 100 yards, just to see if I can get into a slightly deeper water, a bit further out. Maybe the fish are just pushed right out into the middle. I've just had a grebe come up on this 8 metre line as well, bang where my float was a minute ago. It's more like the stuff you'd use on a canal. I've cut back the feed on my inside line, my edge line. I'm just going to feed half a dozen maggots every 10 minutes. Well, it's a fantastic looking venue. I'm sure there must be hundreds of fish in here, there must be. I'm not going to slate it off on the one visit. Yeah, I know it's the end of November. Quick update, it's 10 o'clock, the bells are just timed, nothing. Still biteless. What I've done is, on the feeder line, I unclipped. I've gone another sort of 15 to 20 yards past where I was feeding. I've just put in about 2 or 3 worms chopped up, quite small, and a few pinkies, and literally half a dozen red maggots. I've had 2 casts on that. I'm sure I got a little tiny little indication, but didn't develop into a bite. I've been down the edges, nothing. I've just been feeding every sort of 5 minutes, half a dozen maggots. Been on the 4 metre line, nothing. So I'm just about to go back out on my 8 metre line. God, my hands are raw today. So I'm just going to go single maggot. What I'm going to do, I'm going to bait my hook first. Just going to make sure. I'm going to try double pinky, I think. I know it's getting extreme now. Alright, double pinky on a size 22. And swing that out, bring this back. I've got a tiny little pot on here. Just going to put a sprinkle of pinkies in. A few casters. I mean, very few. And a few bits of hemp. And then literally just going to dust it off with a bit of ground bait. Just to stop it bouncing out. Just loose. So. I found it easier. I put my pole roller right on the corner, and just to break it down into two sections. There's a boat coming in here. I'll go past my feeder line like that. I'll just swing it out. Push this pole back, right back. It's a lot easier to do it in two bits. And then just come forward. Okay. What's this guy doing?
Going on that bit, mate.
Yeah, you're alright, no worries. Morning. I'm just going to lift that over a pole line, feeder line. And I'll switch you around. This goes to the end of the section. And then just turning it over. Just really accurately put that feed in. I'm just going to lower it down. That's it. Literally right where I put the bait. But I've been fishing 2 hours. I'm not even had a sniff. Not a sniff. Maggots are coming back clean as they went in. I'm finally in, guys. This feels like a decent bream. Ooh, that is really nodding. Oh, it is a big bream. A big bream. Single red maggot. A really big bream. Let's not lose this. I'm going to go really ultra easy. No. Yeah. He's in the net. Oh, he is in the net. Oh, jeez. I have to clap some. That's a slab and a half. That is a slab and a half. Yeah. He's in the net. Oh, he is in the net. Oh, jeez. I'm gonna have to clap some. Well, that's a slab and a half. That is a slab and a half. Single red maggot. It's not even in his mouth. There it is, right on the underside of its mouth. Where are you? It's right on the corner of its mouth. Right in the fatty bit. There we go. Oh, that tiny hook. Let's get it out of the way. There's a big bream. Nice fish. I'm giving it a fair whack as well. Keeping my arms straight, heading for the trees in front of me. That one was ever so slightly to the right. That's where I wanted it, and then I'm sweeping it back. Giving it a good cast and just pretty much leaving the rod straight like that. That's bang on again. And what I'm doing as well, I don't know if you can see, I'm getting the rod and just dipping it right down without winding it in, keeping the rod down, sinking the line. And I put the rod right onto the left of the rest, so it's I've got a nice sort of like 45-degree angle. Right, keep an eye on the time. That 10:30 just gone. Come on, let's have another one. Let's have another one. I just had a feeling today that they want to be right out. They want to be right out. I mean, what I was thinking as well, I was contemplating just before that bite, is putting a maggot feeder on and giving it, unclipping and putting another 20-30 yards and just going as far as I can get it. But I've not needed to. Alright, let's have another one. I'm going to get a nice hot cup of soup. The old favourite spicy tomato minestrone. Bit of chilli flakes and a bit of chilli powder. And I've got a couple of nice buttered bread rolls to dip in it today. I've treated myself. Okay, I've just been in again. Tip slowly pull round in a big arc, a struck, but nothing there. But maggot was alright. I think it was a big liner. So there's fish moving about in the area now. At least I'm getting movements on the tip. So I'm going to sit on my hands and wait for that, like the bite before where it just went round. But I've got my clock now and I'm setting it. I'm timing it to like 6-7 minute casts. But the next cast, I'm going to try just a single small piece of sweet corn. I think you've got to keep the bait going in regular, but little. And just getting that further distance now. Probably a good 100 yards, 110 yards. I'm just hoping as well, got the breeze coming bang on straight towards me. That might just push the fish this way with the wind. But at least we're getting indications, at least we're getting signs. Still nothing down the edges, nothing down the edge at all. Keep just sticking a whip down there and just leaving it and single maggot. I've been putting maggots down there, and what I'm doing now as well, rather than trying to do the pole and the feeder, I went out and fed by a little pole pot, and while I was there I just got my sort of range with the catapult and just catapulting a few maggots and casters over the top of that line. So I can concentrate on the feeder for a bit. Because just as well I picked here, so I've had 2 or 3 boats more up in that middle bit. The last thing I want to do is start packing up. But it's a biting wind today, I know that. I left my jacket in the car, but I put an extra layer on, and actually I looked at the temperatures this morning and put my base layer on, my thermals on, my bottoms and my top. I was just a bit worried. I was thinking, I've seen that otter come by 2 or 3 times. I see bubbles, literally, you know, he's patrolling along this line. He hasn't been for a while, but I was thinking, I just hope that bloody bream's alright in the net. Last thing I want is a commotion in the ocean. It's only a pup, but I'm sure he'll bloody still have a go. A bloody great bream like that. Let's concentrate on what we're doing. So I'm going to give this another 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and then I'm going to bring it in. I'm just going to stick religiously to like 7-minute casts. But that big liner did come up pretty much at the end of the 7 minutes. So cheers, guys. Oh, I need this today. Maggoty, wormy hands. I'll do it with my right hand and bait up with my left hand. Actually quite filling. It goes really thick with all the mini strainy bits in it and croutons and that. Got another bread roll for later. Come on, don't let that be a loner. I think the next cast as well, and I'm going to risk putting 2 or 3 chopped worms in there. I'm going to cut the live maggots out, just put a few dead maggots and a few bits of corn.
a few casters, because Bream I know love casters. Right, must be time to get cast in again. Okay, we've just wound in. We've just rebaited. Let's put 3 decent worms in here, chopped up, a few pinkies, 4 bits of corn, and a couple of dead maggots, a few casters. I pressed this in quite hard, and I thought, what will I risk putting a single grain of corn on? I've not tried the sweet corn. The maggots aren't really up to much. Next cast, I'm going to put 2 dead red maggots on. I'll show you where I'm casting to. But still, what I'm doing is, when I get towards the end of the 7-minute cast, I'm giving the line a tweak, and then sort of like at the last minute, I'll wind it back 1 turn, just so the feeder moves, and then the tip springs back, and then just leaving it a minute or so. But yeah, if any of you guys have ever been a traditionalist, an old farty traditionalist, I always stick to the conventional baits, well, especially throughout winter now. But who's to say it still doesn't work throughout the winter? I suppose an experimental session might be on the cards, and just see. If you don't try, you never know, will you? If you don't give these things a go, you'll never know. If it's small method feeder, dampened 2 mils and a bright fluoro pop-up. But I noticed on the weather map last night, pressure's dropping a lot today. Got cold northerly wind coming in, temperatures are dropping down. Had no rain, but this wind's biting today. It's right in my kisser. Well, I need to keep an eye on the time. Just gone 11:30. I'll give it to 22. I'll bring it in and try double red maggot. Well, double dead red maggot. I'd thought a bream that size, there might have been 2 or 3 there, half a dozen there, but I'm getting the same area. I'm clipped up and I'm hitting the clip nicely. Well, we haven't blanked. There's on a positive note, I haven't blanked. Get a nice staging to fish off. Lovely broad. Okay. Just brought that one in. I was just thinking, I'm still going to have a play around with my rig. I've just had a quick re-rig, not that I've got any tangles or anything like that, but sometimes I just think these big feeder beads, they're a bit bulky, and the swivel's really big, and those plastic beads are sometimes a bit obtrusive, so I've just gone for the good old standard tiny little quick change swivel and clip there. It's running down. I've got a small bead, and I've just put one of the Drennan quick change links on. A lot slimmer, a lot lighter. Should get less tangles. Not that I was getting any tangles before, but sometimes it wrap over the bead, and I just think it looks a lot simpler, a lot cleaner. It's a lot lighter. I'll get this cast out. Might just help my presentation a little bit. I'm still catapulting bait over my 8-metre line. You never know. It might make no difference, but while nothing's happening, I might as well, while nothing's happening, I might as well make a few changes and tweaks. Can't come to any harm, can it? So, got nothing to lose at the minute. Yeah, when things are quiet, that's the time to start messing about with things. What I'm going to do in a minute as well, I'm going to tie up a longer hook link. Maybe if they're shying away from the feeder a little bit. But we'll see. Sometimes it's just some small little changes. 1 or 2, 3 little changes that can make all the difference. It might make a little difference, but who knows? Who knows? Might make no difference. But you try 'em. As I say, you've got nothing to lose. I'm going to start packing some of this stuff away and then just concentrate on the feeder. You never know, you might be able to get 1 fish from there. Let's keep saying, bugger all to lose. But we haven't blanked, so there's a positive. There's a positive. And sometimes, when it's like this, when it's hard, and you had 1 or 2 fish, or you had a blank, it makes you think harder, you know. Why? What did I do wrong? What was I doing wrong? Was I feeding it wrong? Wrong bait? Wrong method? Wrong distance? Is there anything you could have done? Sometimes you just come away just completely blank and at a loss. A little bit like today, but you know, when I get home, sit down, have a coffee later on, and sit and reflect. I'm sure a few things will come into mind. It might have been one of them days where just concentrate on one or two things, rather just the pole, just the whip, just the feeder, and just make that work. Try and make that work. Earlier on I just spent too much time flicking about here, there and everywhere, and I think you just need to concentrate on one line and, as I say, really try and make it work and analyse it. Because when it's really hard, rock hard in, you're skipping about, you end up doing nothing, if that makes sense. Sometimes less is more. Okay guys, I'm all done, back at the car, it's just gone 1 o'clock. Oh, what a grueling session that was. Oh, cold day as well. Where do I start? At the minute I'm not sure. Not blaming the otter, but I think the otter destroyed the inside line. Down the edge and the 4 metre line. I would have expected something on the 8 metre, 9 metre line. But just, you know, the first hour and a half, 2 hours without a single bite on the feeder. I put the feeder out, clipped up. I was fishing quite light. I started with a 2.6 pound hook link, 14 hook, but I knew straight away after 2 hours I needed to go down, so I went down to a 1.85 pound and a 16 hook. Could have gone down to 18.20, but I got that bream, so just as well I didn't. So, but I knew it was going to be hard. So setting up, when I was initially setting up the lines, I thought, right, I'm going to go light, and all my rigs were really light today. Even down the edge rig, sort of, what was it, 5x8s, 5x8s, a small 20 hook. Again, 0.6, 4 metre line, again really light, really delicate, strung out. 0.8, 0.6 in size 22 Gamakatsu black. And then my 8 metre line was just a small bulk, 0.5 of a rig, bulk down with one single number 10 dropper, and really light elastic. I fed sparingly. I fed one small golf ball size on my 8 metre line at the start. Left that for a good half an hour, 40 minutes. But I knew by the feeder then, you know, to go easy with the bait. And I was only just literally feeding pinches of maggots down the edge and a pinch of hemp and wheat and casters. And then when I went on the 8 metre line, I just put the smallest pole pot on and sprinkled a few maggots in there and casters and topped it off with dusting a ground bait. Just couldn't bite, just never got a bite on them lines at all day long. I expected something to move in on the 8 metre line eventually, but nothing. Only the one bream and one liner. So it's just strange whether the fish had just pushed off somewhere else, shut down for the day with the drop in air temperature, drop in pressure. We've not had no rain for 3 or 4 days, so it's just a bit of a weird one today. I just don't understand it at the minute. Again on the feeder, maybe putting those 3 bait up feeders in just killed that area, spooked them all off. But I did have to say, you know, 2 hours unclipped, went another 20 yards and just fed as I go, and that's why I got the bream on. But then nothing after that, so just a tough day at the office. I shall go back, reflect, have a think, probably come up with no ideas, but yeah, I'm scratching my head at the minute. I'm scratching my head. I would say the rigs I had on were more akin to fishing a canal or something like that, and still couldn't buy a bite. Not a sniff, not a perch down the edge. Nothing, not a touch, not even a dink on maggots were untouched. Then went on to pinky, untouched. So the fish obviously weren't here today. The fish just weren't here. That's all I can put it down to. And whether that's just, I don't know how many otters are in here. I did see 2. I don't know what sort of area they're patrolling, how far, but for whatever reason, just that, but it was a good bream as well. A good bream, I would say a good £6 to £7 that one. Nice dark brown, big fat bream. But shape, it's just strange why that was on its own, just a total loner. But that's fishing, I suppose. Anyway, I hope there was something in there for you. Tight lines, all the best, guys, and see you again in another video. Bye for now.